Oh, there we go. I was wondering. Ah, hello. This is Cat Alexander, and just need to check to see if I was muted. I hate that. And yeah, welcome to my whenever whatever stream. Final Fantasy 14. And today or tonight, I wanted to roast Homath. Yay! Ah. I didn't want to call this like Tuesday chill stream because this is not exactly going to be all that chill. You know what I'm saying? This isn't me shooting the shit. This is me roasting a poor hoe on the internet. So yeah, it is time to let me put my character right here for later. Yeah, let's switch over to Twitter. Aha! React Andy time. It's time to react to Twitter. It's time to roast a hoe. Knock him down a peg. Make him feel like he's in the South. A hoe down, if you will. Let's read his thesis. Because it is sad and pathetic. And it just gets worse the more he responds. Below, James, in this case James Lindsay, and the other woke right salesman. We're not salesmen, we're simply describing a pre-existing phenomenon with a term that the people who are a part of said social phenomenon don't like. Which is why we will continue to use the phrase woke right to trigger all the hoes, because it makes them mad. Thankfully, some of the hoes properly label themselves accordingly, like this one. He calls himself Ho Math. At least he's honest. He uses math and he's a hoe. A male hoe, but still a hoe. Makes sense to me. Anyway, why don't you reread that? James and the other woke right salesmen played too much Pokemon and Magic cards in their formative years. This guy actually seems to believe that this is the hilarious contradiction here of Homath. Oof. He seems to believe in the biological differences between the races. Okay? Which is objectively true. He does seem to believe... I mean, it's not true in the sense that the woke right believes, but it is biologically true. Basically, they take something true and then twist it into something it's not. Basically, biological differences between races exist. Different IQ bell curves exist. This is all true. They are not nearly as important as other biological data points, like neurochemistry, for example, or IQ. But, yeah, there are biological differences between the races and sexes. And I'm not going to lie to you and say there isn't. Doesn't mean we should judge people based on that standard and become a stupid collectivist, especially when, even within those groups, there are individuals who buck the trend. Suffice it to say, there are assholes in every group and exceptional individuals in every group. And a fuck ton of normies just going along in between in the group who will just side with whoever. So, yeah. And yet, he will still try to say that our formative years warped our perception of reality and conditioned us to believe in an unreality or some shit. It's woefully logically inconsistent. Biology is not a social construct. Biology determines certain people's behaviors. Also, all the people who disagree with me are brainwashed. Well, if there's group differences, have you considered that maybe there's differences between people in the same racial group? Like, from what I understand, Homath is white, just like me. And maybe we're not all a monolith, and there are just biologically built-in group differences that cause me to disagree with you on instinct. Or how about this? Homath seems to be a bit of a narcissistic psychopath based on his tweets, And I'm not a narcissistic psychopath. I'm autistic. My neurochemistry and his neurochemistry are like two opposite ends of the spectrum. We are in foundational opposition, and since neurochemistry is mostly biologically based, that means our resentment for one another is biologically ingrained. And therefore, which tribes we will ultimately side with is more biologically ingrained. Wow! I just proved classical liberalism with biology. See, if you could prove racial collectivism with biology, you could also prove egalitarianism with biology based on psychological temperaments and neurochemistries. You could also prove wokeness being a biological built-in behavior with psychopathy. As Jordan Peterson has rightfully pointed out, that a lot of the people on the woke left and woke right are seem to be suffering from psychopathy. So, yeah, basically, biology is not a social construct by any stretch of the imagination, and all the people who want you to focus on race and sex don't want you to focus on neurochemistry. Because if you focused on neurochemistry, then you might focus on psychopathology, including psychopathy, and then you might start noticing the real pattern, and it's not the Jews or white people, or black people, or Indians. No, it's psychopaths all across the world being psychotic, and we need a solution to the psychopath question. And even though James Lindsay would most likely prefer a peaceful solution, I'm a realist, and so is he, but he's like a more naive realist. He's a realist, but he's also a good-natured man. He wants to try and save as many people as possible, and I applaud him for it. But eventually, even he realizes that the worst possible actors are going to default to their baser instincts, and yeah, under classical liberalism, we have a natural right to self-defense. That's the whole basis of the Second Amendment. It's not the Constitution that grants this to us. It's a natural right we all believe in inherently. Even if these tyrants lit the Constitution on fire, classical liberals would still believe in the principles, because, you know, you get the point, right? It's a document. It's a tool to enforce our will. It's not actually the source of our will. Okay, rant over. Point is, he seems to believe that the shit you play around with in your childhood tempers you, to use FF14 terminology, brainwashes you, in other words, into believing bullshit, when in actuality, most kids typically gravitate towards what's inherent in their genome, for better or for worse. You know? This is why certain black ghettos are shitholes, to the point that black flight is now a thing, and countless black people are fleeing from their lives from other black people, because, as I said, race is not a monolith, and some of the worst members of that race have ruined those areas forever, with the help of the woke left, of course. Everything woke turns to shit. So, yeah, you get my point. Basically, places like Detroit are a mixture of biology and sociology. So, yeah. And all the decent people that can flee have long since fled of every race and creed. Because why would you stay in an awful shithole? So, yeah. There is that. Anyway. Point is... He's going to try and say we're not aware of these grim realities, and that colorblind meritocracy is impossible, but it's actually very possible. And not only that, it's arguably eugenic. Because if you judge people by the color of their skin, you will inevitably create these aforementioned black ghettos. And yeah, basically, if you basically go by the standard, I'm tongue-tied. If you go by the standard that all black people or all white people need to be treated the same because they're black or white, and you need to protect the in-group and punish all the other people in your out-group, then you will subsidize the worst members of your in-group and all the psychopaths and lunatics using race and or ideology or other shit or just the desire for your stereo for the drug money as an excuse will inevitably be the ones driving your culture, and then you will end up with a cultural decline. So, yeah, that's a rather awkward truth, but it is a truth. And the woke right want to do that for white people, and I object. A good chunk of the black Americans that escaped that shithole and realized all the shit I'm saying is true have rightfully informed us that's a terrible idea and racial collectivism doesn't work. So we should acknowledge biology, but race is not actually one of those things that actually needs to be truly acknowledged at all. Especially at this point. Turns out all the downsides of colorblind meritocracy have been weeded out due to wokeness. Irony. That is an irony. In their attempt to negate colorblind meritocracy, they enforced it because they just segregated themselves into their own groups, their own hyper-tribalistic, savage, incredibly racist, psychopathic groups that no one wants to deal with regardless of their skin color. Yay! We fixed it! Now if only we can do something about all those savages of every race and creed in all the bad areas. And all the... in Poorsville. Ooh, if only you can do something about the lowest quintile. But, I mean... the rule of law will have to suffice. Which means locking up a lot of people. Oh well. I think everyone is okay with that at this point. We've seen the alternative. No one likes it. Doesn't matter what your skin color is. It's officially no longer racist to solve the problem at this point. Only the woke left and woke right would disagree with that statement. Yeah. Anyway, I got ahead of myself. I just wanted to rant there. Info dump like the autist I am about some interesting truce shit. And speaking of info dumping, Homath is already woefully incorrect in his first sentence. Played too much Pokemon and Magic cards in my formative years? You don't even know which card game I was tempered by. You don't even know why I'm allegedly based. Or, well, based and based. See, this is the thing about my personality. My personality is like smack dab in the middle of the woke right's definition of based and James Lindsay's. I am based in the sense I base my opinions off of objective truth, and I am based in the sense that I'm an autist. I'm autistic. I don't give a shit. I say whatever the fuck I want, and I derive genuine joy from saying true statements that are transgressive and piss you off. I'd be saying a lot more on this stream, but I'd probably get banned off of Twitch, so I restrain myself. Yay! Twitch is now a free speech platform, but I have even more to say. Oh, I wish I could pop off. There's a part of my brain that wants to go full Uncle Ruckus on the woke right. 'Cause I mean, look. Race may not be a social construct, but some of these stereotypes are, and I hate to break it to you. White people are just as guilty, and, you know the word I want to use to describe them, but I can't. Oh, well, my hands are tied. So, yeah, let's show off, the type of shit that I grew up with. And one of the reasons why James Lindsay's metaphor of the Sorcerer's Circle makes sense to my brain. Now, that's not just because I'm an atheist that grew up in a household of witches. Oh, were you expecting me to be Christian? Or a bleeding heart shitlib or a libertarian? Ha! 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 Non-aggression principle, my ass. My favorite characters are the ones with the most aggression. So, yeah. And, well, all I'm saying is, this scene is a perfect metaphor for the woke right and James Lindsay. James Lindsay is Yugi in this scene. The woke right is the Pharaoh, except they're not benevolent whatsoever, and they'll just keep going and destroying themselves. If all goes well, they'll be the ones that lose their soul. And Raphael is the woke, I guess would be the woke left in this metaphor, but yeah, the woke left and Raphael have nothing in common. Raphael's too much of a honorable antagonist, whereas the woke left are just evil. The woke left have more in common with darts in this season than the underlings. Just like the woke right have more in common with darts than the Pharaoh, but you get the metaphor. The Sorcerer's Circle metaphor I'm about to show you if you've watched the show. So yeah, let's just watch the clip. Just get it over with. Enough preamble. Oh no, he's about to be...
You see? Trust me! It's the only way, Yugi. We must do this. Now let me go! Please don't play that card! Now I activate the Seal of Orichalcos!
Excellent.
And, well... Too loud.
What have I done?
Yeah, the woke right didn't have that thought. They just went, yes! Dark power! Kill everything! It's like, what have I done? I've activated the cursed card that seals souls and unlocks the darkness within the human heart and turns people evil and shit. No, really, that was actually the plot of Season 4. A cursed trading card that, when you activate the card... Well, okay. I'll explain the plot of Season 4 real quick, because, oh boy, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a hell of a trip for those that haven't watched it. Okay. It's hard to explain. The reason there are two souls in one body is because Yugi solved the Millennium Puzzle, an ancient, made-up, magical, ancient Egyptian artifact with the soul of an Egyptian pharaoh, and the pharaoh is now inhabiting his body, and whenever Yugi plays the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, the pharaoh takes over, and the pharaoh is like a badass, okay? Whereas Yugi's just like a loving, caring, kind little kid. Like a high schooler, like a nice guy. Whereas the pharaoh is like based, he's manly, his voice is deep. That's how you know he's manly and shit. He's the more aggressive, more active, more aligned to darkness of the two, which is why in the dub they call him, instead of just calling him the Pharaoh, they call him Yami Yugi, or Dark Yugi. Yami is dark in Japanese. So yeah, Yami Yugi, or Dark Yugi, activates the Seal of Orichalcos. And the reason he has the Seal of Orichalcos, despite it being the bad guy card, because there's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, not just in the actual card game, but in the show, called Exchange, that Raphael activated, which allows you to swap cards with, basically, you swap hands, basically, you know. Well, one card in the hand with the other card in the hand. So, like, Raphael only had the seal, because he did that deliberately to test the Pharaoh's strength of will, trying to prove to him that all people have darkness in their heart, and you are not immune to the corruption of the Orichalcos. Spoiler alert, he was right, and Yugi lost the duel because he fell to darkness temporarily, and gave into his bloodlust, aggression, and psychopathy that was unleashed. His conscience was suppressed, and his darkness was unbound, and he just treated his monsters like trash, and basically became increasingly aggressive and irrational, saw everything as a means to an end, didn't really care about anything other than destroying the other guy with, like, no actual mind for his own strategies whatsoever, much less his opponents. And he had played into Raphael's hands, not just morally and philosophically, but strategically, and Raphael beat him. Raphael just played around him. Or effectively, the duel became a dialectic in which the weaker of the two opponents was used to empower the stronger of the two. Huh. That sounds familiar. Yeah, basically, Yugi lost. Or, well, the Pharaoh lost because Yugi was locked out of his own body because the seal. So, yeah, and the reason that they are after the Pharaoh to begin with is because Darts is an even older spirit, a remnant of ancient Atlantis. As I said, this plot is kooky, bear with me. Anime, baby! And he wants to absorb the Pharaoh's soul along with the two souls of the two other strongest duelists on Earth, that being Seto Kaiba and Joey Wheeler, the 3 knights of Atlantis with the legendary dragons, Timaeus, Critias, and Hermos. And in order to resurrect the great Leviathan and kill all of mankind, because he's corrupted by the Orichalcos as well, which is an ancient stone that fell from space and caused the fall of Atlantean civilization. Basically caused everyone to become twisted and dark and warped and feral and demonic. And it just caused the fall of Atlantean civilization. And everyone started seeing power as a zero-sum game and lashing out at each other like demons, and Atlantis fell. And ever since then, his soul, corrupted by the Orichalcos, concluded that humanity is basically inherently dysgenic and easily corruptible by darkness and needs to perish under the waters of the great Leviathan in basically a second flood, Noah's Ark style, purifying everyone from the earth. Which the great Leviathan was one of the things that caused the fall of the Atlantean civilization. And yeah, he's the corrupted king of Atlantis. And he wants the Pharaoh's soul to usher in the apocalypse. I know! This is an anime about card games, by the way. Oh, did I mention that the ancient Egyptians in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime were credited with inventing the card game because they played ancient magical shadow games in the past 5,000 years on stone tablets instead of cards, but they actually stole that idea, at least in the anime canon, from Atlantis, because Atlantis was the true inventors of duel monsters. I know. For anyone who hasn't played or watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Or doesn't know the lore, you're just like, did James Lindsay write this show? I'm kidding. It just sounds cracked, doesn't it? Especially as a young kid, your brain is just like, there's no way any of that could have any basis in any sort of reality. There's no way humans could be that warped and unhinged, and I was wrong! Turns out young me was wrong about that. Humans it was a very good literary metaphor, just like Lord of the Rings, funnily enough, but instead of the ring, it's the seal. No, humans are crazy. Turns out, fiction, good fiction, is based on reality, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a good work of fiction. It is based on human nature. As trippy as that nature is when translated into card games. It's like, okay, the hardest part to swallow at this point is, yeah, but all this is happening within the confines of the structure of a card game. And so, yeah, this is where Yugi loses his soul, because, having the protagonist lose, having there be consequences for it, unlike Pokemon, yeah, kind of based. Turns out actions have consequences, and giving into darkness destroys you, or nearly destroys you.
Pharaoh! I won't let this happen to you!
Yugi, no! What are you doing here?
It only needs one of us, so I'm letting the seal take me instead.
No! Yugi!
And, of course, the Pharaoh has to save the world and Yugi's soul at this point. Redemption arc! He has to conquer the darkness in his own heart that he now knows is there. Because just like the woke right, he ignored his own darkness. Thought Raphael was messing with him. Raphael was telling him the truth. And it cost him Yugi's soul. Turns out, all people have darkness in their heart, and you're not immune to it. You have to acknowledge it, otherwise it will consume you.
Hey, you! Take your hands off him!
And especially if you play the Seal of Orichalcos.
You guys alright?
You can keep him. I already have everything of his I need.
Get back here! You hear me? Yugi, speak to us.
Hey, Rex. I know exactly what you're thinking.
You gotta get up. Can you hear us, Yugi? Come on. Wake up! He's awake! I knew you'd outsmart that big goon. So, how'd you do it, Yug? How'd you escape? Everything alright, pal?
Yeah. He's like, no, Yugi's soul is gone. Where? That being said, in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Universe, darkness is not inherently evil, and light is not inherently good. It's like Final Fantasy, and it's like yin and yang, baby, which is arguably, in my opinion, as an atheist, a bit more true in the metaphysical sense than Christianity. It's like, yeah, I know, light, good, dark, bad, God, good, Satan, bad, but it's actually somewhere in the middle. It's harmony versus disharmony, and extreme passivity is just as bad as extreme activity. And sometimes, in order to overcome the siren song of passivity and that tempering, you need to tap into your darkness in order to win. Huh, that sounds like Jordan Peterson. So I'm saying both James Lindsay and Jordan Peterson are right in different ways. And Homath is mostly wrong. Anyway, let's just show you another clip from the sequel, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Ah, the rise of the Hellkaiser, baby. My favorite character in the show, Season 2 onwards. Card Game Xenos.
Thought you had me, didn't you, Truesdale? Now you see why I'm the king of the cage!
Not yet.
What
Oh,
do you
yeah.
mean? You think you'll win?
Not think. I know it with all my soul!
Oh, yeah, baby.
I should warn you. The Zane you think you knew is long gone.
Darkness, baby! The power of
This
darkness!
time I've been focusing on nonsense, like respecting my opponents. When I should have been thinking about winning.
Damn straight, son!
Played by the rules, and look where it got
Don't
me.
embrace the
No.
dialectic!
Dueling's about making up your own rules, right? And about tapping into your anger to win.
Oh, yeah! Rage win,
My
baby!
face-down card, Call of the Haunted.
What?
Now I can search through my graveyard and choose one monster to summon. And I pick my Proto-Cyber Dragon. Then I'll play this card. Ready? It's Overload Fusion! It lets me choose a fusion monster from my deck and call it to the field. Let me see. Who will I use to tear you to shreds? I know! Chimera
Base it
Attack
both
Overdragon!
ways! Double
You
base,
sure about
bitch!
I haven't been this
Whoa,
sure
right.
in months, but first I need to remove
Not even
6 of
Lindsay
my
is
monsters
double
from the
base.
game.
Lindsay is
Actually,
double
I'm only
base.
required to remove 2, but I'm in a destructive mood today, so let's do this. I remove 6 of my dragons from play.
Base times
And
2,
now,
bitch!
Meet the last monster you'll ever see.
Limiter removal!
Rise, Chimera
Oh,
Attack
yeah!
Overdragon.
Which works because he's a machine duelist.
That's a whole lot of attack points!
Now, Overdragon, it's time for revenge. Attack his multiple slimes.
That all you got? Well, did you know that when you destroy my multiple slime, it leaves a little present in its place? 3 slime monster tokens!
Oh yeah! Obliterate them, Zane!
And then, I'll play this! My Twab Twim! Here's how it works. One of my Twabs comes back to me!
Your last machine virus, right? Well, I'll admit that's a powerful card, if you can use it.
I can! I have 3 tokens, remember? And all I need is 1! Cause then I can sacrifice it! To activate my Twab!
That's just it. None of them will survive. Face it, it's over.
Wire!
Are you sure this is gonna work?
Oh, it's
Since
going
I
to.
ditched 6 cards, my Overdragon is now able to attack you 6 times.
It can?
It can.
And it will.
Overdragon, end this.
Obliterate this annoying character! Clean up on aisle 3! Zane Truesdale just committed a homicide, and he doesn't give a fuck. And I'll be honest with you, with how annoying that voice was in the dub, I would have murdered him too. He had it coming. He was born annoying. See what I mean? Double bass. That's how I roll. You ever just hear someone's voice and you want to rip out their tongue? Not because you fear what they have to say, but because of their voice itself. They could be giving you the winning lottery numbers and you still want to rip out their jugular because it's just that grating and irritating. Yeah, that was that character. Fuck him. He had it coming. Anyway, let's read more of Homath, shall we? They view a deep perversion of normal human mentality, invented last week in historical terms, as the default that everyone should be held to as a standard. Ah, yes! Christianity and yin and yang. Christianity in Lindsay's case, and yin and yang more in my case. Roughly around 2,000 years old. Last week in historical standards, baby. Woo, that's crazy. Also, common sense realism. The acknowledgement that objective reality exists. The Big Bang itself. And or the creation of the universe by a god, if you believe in such nonsense. Ugh. Totally last week in historical standards. You see, Homath predates the universe. He knows shit we don't. He's just that good. That moment when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and don't know what your opponent believes. And therefore, you just say shit and think you're smart. And then you walk into all the rakes. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. They think the 90s were awesome! Mythological figure that turns water into wine and sacrifices himself with the sins of losers. So, yeah. Anyway, you get the point. So, yeah, the 90s sucked, actually. And the only 3 good things from the 90s were, the, racial tensions not being as high, despite the woke shit going on in the background trying to astroturf shit and make it bad, which they partially succeeded for a while until they attacked colorblind meritocracy to such an extent that even the people who had a vested interest in black supremacy, the majority of black people in America began to turn against, well, black supremacy out of disgust. And now we're here in a timeline where Homath doesn't really seem to realize that the 90s is dead. And, yeah, we can't go back to the 90s. Turns out your little psychological scaling mechanism, your weird cult-like psychological scaling mechanism, what if I were to tell you that's just a system they used in special education to bully me? And his man is effectively trying to derive his worldview from, like, this mathematical scaling system and apply it to all of civilization. Effectively saying that the entire American Republic should be turned into the Alala Center. The iron law of woke projection never misses. Whether he realizes it or not, his solution to destroying the vestiges of the 90s is to bring back the worst part of the 90s! Ooh, people like this make me want to punch them in the throat. Every time they say, the 90s were awesome, I want to beat them until morale improves. I won't, but I want to. Because they were kids in the 90s, and so this is their baseline for normal. Actually, it was my baseline for abnormal. It was my baseline for, wow, this is very authoritarian and fucked. We shouldn't do this. My childhood was my baseline for, let's not do this ever again. It's my baseline for queer, actually. So, no! You're wrong! Fuck you! This is why they see queer as an elemental inversion of woke. It's not actually an elemental inversion of woke. It's the other half of the woke Tao. Elemental inversion implies complete and other polar opposite. It's the complement of woke, not its polar, radical, foundational opposite. It's not like fire on ice monster or ice on a fire monster. It's more like a mockery of yin and yang. It's like two different competing forms of imbalance. You know, it's not an inversion, it's a complement. Fascism complements communism. Communism complements fascism. They feed into each other. Kind of like male and female feed into each other, or light and darkness feed into each other. You know? It's a dark harmony. We view woke overall, left and right, as an inversion of normalcy. But we do not view the woke right as an inversion of the woke left. We view them as complements. And not only that, I actually would go a step further, and I wouldn't say that, you know, wokeness is an inversion of normalcy. I would say normalcy is the harmony on the Tao, and wokeness is the complement to libertarianism. Or put simply, wokeness is activity for activity's sake, left wing or right wing. It's aggression, it's darkness, taken to its logical extreme, basically like the Seal of Orichalcos. And I would argue libertarianism and or other pacifistic ideologies are, with that non-aggression principle nonsense, is another complement on the woke Tao. Basically, Homath's kind of right, but kind of wrong, you know? Communism and fascism are in competition with one another, but they're both, elements, you know? But I would argue... Well, this is where... okay. This is where I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy XIV, because 14 actually explains this better than me. I'm sucking. Hey, what can I say? I'm not a super genius. Let me show you a scene that will explain this a tad bit better than me. I want the music on. For this. Okay. Shadowbringers. Okay, cutscene number 2. Here, onto the truth. I'll let Urianger explain. Huh.
Urianger, are you in?
Unto a world weary of heroes, a hero wends her way. The Exarch did send word that thou wouldst seek me out, but ne'er did I imagine thou wouldst arrive so soon. Full glad am I to see thee once more, my friend, and none the worse for thy travails.
So, yeah. Hopefully he'll get to the good part.
We'll meet you outside.
It's all one cutscene, so... I'll take off auto-scroll at the relevant
Another
parts.
one for you to imbue, if you'd be so kind.
I take it thou hast met with our other comrades already? That Master Alphino and Mistress Alize now travel in thy company is of great comfort to me. As for the rest, it beginneth in earnest. The hunting of the Light Wardens, and perforce the war with Yulmore.
Uh-huh. Get on with it.
Hark thee then to my words, and through them behold the vision that I did glimpse, that of the 8th Umbral Calamity.
Woohoo! We're about to learn how umbral calamities work.
As I drifted hither to the first, traversing the boundary twixt reality and potentiality, I did bear witness to events yet to come. There I saw the combined forces of Eorzea and the Far East offering fierce resistance to the legions of Garlemald. So fierce, in fact, that they did begin to push the enemy back. Ilm by painful Ilm at first, then Yalm by Yalm, and Malm by Malm in time. Yet the joy they felt was short-lived, for in so doing they did force the Empire's hand. Faced with defeat, the Garleans turned to a weapon most vile. Black Rose.
Okay, turn off auto scroll.
Its potency defied all reckoning.
We're about to learn why Black Rose did what it did.
The gas took on a life of its own, wreaking untold carnage not only in Eorzea, but in the provinces of the Empire besides. From fighters upon the front lines to babes in their beds, none were spared. And as the casualties became too numerous to count, so did the fabric of civilization begin to unravel. Nor did the land itself escape unscathed, for spreading from the site of its release, Black Rose brought death to the very soil. To survive amidst the chaos and upheaval, men came to live by the sword, the rule of law giving way, inevitably, to the rule of might. Thus was the spark struck and the fire kindled, and swiftly did it spread as a blaze in a field of straw to engulf every corner of the world.
So, can we get to the good part?
Nations worthy of the name did then cease to exist. And those souls brave and true who might...
Yeah, might have restored. Yeah, we died. Get to the good part, Urianger. Skip. Yeah, original timeline, we died. Woohoo! Time travel and time manipulation plot, baby. Anyway, moving on. Trying to get to the relevant bit. To my thesis. I'm about to explain why Black Rose and Umbral Calamities actually matter for, well, this metaphysical rant about the nature of Western civilization and its potential fall.
Were no more.
Yep, died. Whoops. I zigged when I should have zagged. Got gassed. Died. Whoops. Happens all the time in this game. I suck. I need to get good. Keep tanking that floor. Well, someone's got to hold it down. Someone's got to be the 8th man.
Endless age of war, begotten by the blight of Black Rose. Such is the legacy of the 8th Umbral Calamity which I did behold.
Yep. But what caused it?
No matter the cost, we must forestall this tragedy.
Exactly. Moving on.
To that end, I have labored during my sojourn in this world, discovering in so doing the answer to a pressing mystery.
Okay.
That of Black Rose's inexplicable potency.
What amplified it? Shouldn't have done that normally.
Come. Dost thou recognize yonder chart?
It's a wheel of elements. One of those things that Homath is probably allergic to and vomiting at the sight of. Yeah, it's a chart of the elements in FF14. The 6 elements, plus astral and umbral. What about it, Urianger?
Indeed. 'Tis a rendering of the elemental wheel, such as one might find in classrooms across the source. As the chart maketh plain, our world is composed of 6 elements, in addition to which there exist 2 poles in fundamental opposition. Astral, the active; umbral, the passive. As a reflection of the source, the first naturally compriseth the selfsame forces. Yet, curiously, there is a notable divergence in their nomenclature. To be specific, the denizens of this world employ not the terms astral and umbral. Thus was I moved to inquire what names said forces had been assigned. A simple question which yielded a most unexpected answer. Upon demanding the name of the pole aligned with activity and growth, I was told that as life's myriad colors combine to produce black, the people of the first had called it darkness. At this, did my mind begin to race. Yet 'twas only when I asked what name had been given to the pole aligned with passivity that mine eyes were opened to the truth. Peace and tranquility being as purest white, unmarred by color, I was told it had been given the name of light.
Exactly.
That's umbral light and astral darkness, yes? I'm no etherologist, but it strikes me that the nomenclature of the first is rooted in the generation of the 2 forces, while our own appears to focus on their effects. Which makes one wonder, have we had it backwards all this time?
Yes, and the same is true in real life. Most people's definition of wokeness is based on the effects of the forces, whereas James Lindsay's definition of wokeness is based on their generation. The source of all wokeness is imbalance between either passivity or activity. This is how you can have woke libertarians or lawbertarians, woke rightists, because they're suffering from an excess of activity despite being on the right and advocating for tradition's sake, to the point of madness that they're willing to lash out at the very traditions that they're supposed to conserve and protect. And it's also why the woke left are the way they are, because, you know, they're actively advocating for control of speech in order to prevent people from saying, you know, all that bad, spicy shit out of fear of the Nazis rising again, and they basically overflowed into being Nazis themselves. Or put simply, all authoritarian ideologies are the result of an imbalance between active or passive. Or put simply, if you become too passive, you get conquered. If you become too active, you effectively obliterate your own civilization out of fear, terror, hate, rage, and rancor. You balkanize, and then you get conquered. Only by balancing passive and active can civilization function. Put simply, wokeness is the real-world equivalent of an umbral calamity. And unfortunately, the Western civilization is on the verge of an umbral calamity.
Question, and one which beareth closer examination. Yet what knowledge we already possess sufficeth to explain the chain of events. The phenomenon of etheric thinning observed in the source is the consequence of light, the power of stasis, flowing in from the first to stifle the movement of ether within the land.
Exactly. Excess stasis will just... excess passivity, excess, oh, you can't do that. Oh, that might be bad. Oh, excess stasis will stifle activity. But unlike 14, where, you know, activity disappears. Activity just actually begins to build up and build up and build up and build up. And then it explodes in a burst of darkness. The pendulum basically switches. So, yeah. An overflow effect in the real world is created, and then you get a flood of darkness. Activity. That is currently what's happening with the woke right. Basically, the power of stasis became so strong, due to the French and German Enlightenments, not the Scottish one, that, in Western civilization, America included, that, well, everything became stifling, blinding. And stasis took hold. When things have been in stasis for pretty much 60 years at the very least, arguably 80 to 100 years, things get repressed. When things get repressed, activity builds under the surface. Darkness starts exploding. And then, boom! You get a flood of darkness, of activity. Basically, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Humans are governed by this process as well. It's ingrained into our biology. We are bound by physics. Metaphysics is called metaphysics for a reason. It's physics. It's just metaphysics and physics are arguably the same thing in a lot of ways. There's overlap when you think about it logically.
According to Master Alphino, Black Rose slayeth by halting the circulation of ether within living beings.
Wow, that's a lot of stasis. Everything just stops. Oof.
Should such a weapon be unleashed even as the first were rejoined, replete as it is with light,
it would effectively become uber light, uber stasis, and kill everyone. Yay! Just like with this recent surge of darkness due to the woke left and woke right, due to a mixture of despair and hatred on both sides, if, let's say, foreign powers like the World Economic Forum, Qatar, Russia, and China were to take advantage of this and use something like social media to astroturf the reaction, the social reactions, and bought up the worst aspects of this process, you would have, in theory, a civilization so tainted by an excess of activity, of darkness on both sides, that it would balkanize and collapse. Or put simply, a flood of darkness instead of a flood of light. And everything would just start looking a lot more like the 13th does in this game, but it's right outside your window in the American Republic. And even though people aren't literally turning into Voidsent and demons, shit would start feeling like you're being eaten by Voidsent, and that's not good. James Lindsay's trying to prevent the collapse of the American Republic by a bunch of wannabe Asians. And I do mean wannabe Asians, because Klaus Schwab dresses in an all-black outfit that looks a lot like a fucking Asian, let me tell you. Starting to think Yoshi P was inspired by some conspiracy fact, if you will, on this one. So yeah, Flood of Darkness is coming. Yay! Yay! Classic Final Fantasy trope in real life.
Would have a disaster
right outside my window.
On our hands. A calamity.
Yep, an umbral calamity. IRL, right outside your window, right now. For all those of you bored with Dawn Trail and wanting Yoshi P to blow up the servers again, no worries, just walk outside. It's going to happen if it isn't stopped. In real life. To you. Enjoy! Enjoy Voidsent! Wait, well, not literal Voidsent, but you get the point. Enjoy the depravity! Enjoy being zero, bitch!
Well, at least we have a better grasp of what we're facing. Our objective, however, remains unchanged. We are to eliminate the light war.
Yeah, and then the rest of this is just plot. But you get the point. Darkness, make everything implode. And so, yeah, most people are blaming light. And they're right to blame an excess of light. But an excess of light can lead to an excess of darkness. Basically, the excess of light was stopped, a flood of light was stopped, and the World Economic Forum are pivoting to darkness, because there's just enough suppressed darkness in the American Republic to balkanize us in the other direction. If they can't oppress us with stasis, then they will use activity. Yay! And so we need to use darkness on light and light on darkness. We need to be based towards the woke left and a bit more passive and restrained against the woke right. Effectively causing negation of both entities. So yeah, Homaf's trying to strawman James Lindsay's point here, but all he did was poorly explain it. Hopefully, my random musings in battle help clarify his position a little bit more. So it's not quite like that. It's more like we have an ice monster and a fire monster at the exact same time trying to eat us. And the ice monster feeds the fire monster, and the fire monster feeds the ice monster. Because the ice monster needs more ice to kill the fire monster, and the fire monster needs more fire to kill the ice monster, and one half of the nation's on fire, the other half is frozen. So it's actually kind of a good metaphor, but I prefer light and shadow, because, you know, yin and yang is a way easier thing to explain than Final Fantasy element charts, even though technically I use a Final Fantasy scene to explain it, but you get my point. So Homath is misdiagnosing the problem. He's claiming normalcy is the elemental inversion, whereas normalcy is in between the two extremes. Or I would argue 3 extremes. aka stasis out of control, passivity out of control, and activity out of control. Basically, we're dealing with a warring triad. It's like, it's not true yin and yang, it's more like a warring triad of elements. It's like a 3-way element chart, rock, paper, scissors, if you will. And that's because of human temperaments. Some people are inherently passive, some people are inherently active, and, well, some inherently active people use passivity as a skin suit for the past 100 years, aka liberalism, and pretended to basically represent light, and end up causing chaos in our civilization. Meanwhile, you have the opposite problem, where you have people pretending to be activity, but they are actually quite passive to the real problem and refuse to take meaningful action to defeat the other side, and instead want to feed that dialectic deliberately. They're plants. The woke right are there to feed the woke left are there to feed the woke right. It's basically a feedback loop. Combine that with libertarians saying you're not allowed to fight back against either party, otherwise you're violating the non-aggression principle. You're not embracing true liberty in a futile attempt to shame classical liberals caught in the middle of these 3 points. And you have a warring triad that's trying to effectively negate us and pacify us. So in order to save the American Republic, we're not only going to have to stop funding all these different foreign nations, we're going to have to disrupt this warring triad. Unfortunately, disrupting this warring triad will be seen the exact same way by the rest of the world, the exact same way the main antagonist of Final Fantasy VI was seen in... Well, I'll get there when I get there, okay? So, yeah. If we listen to the libertarians and embrace pure passivity as an overreaction, to the woke left and woke right, and the woke left and woke right's dialectic goes off without a hitch, everything explodes, and we basically you get a flood of darkness due to the woke left being unpopular. If we take action, the American Republic won't explode, but I don't think Mr. Lindsay understands the consequences of his actions. But I think they are necessary in order to preserve our republic, and power may not be a zero-sum game, but it's survival of the fittest right now, and we're going to have to blow up the rest of the world to save our own. Basically, in order to save the republic, we're going to have to break the rest of the world. For you see, the globalists have aligned a global warring triad, if you will, metaphorical warring triad, Final Fantasy VI style, to hamper in the American Republic and the cause of liberty and across the world to keep it down, to suppress it. Basically, they're trying to repress liberty in favor of tyranny, so they can control everything. They're control freaks. They're power-mad globalists. They just want to put us all in the pods and make us eat the bugs. So, if we disrupt that system and pull out of all this crap, we're a load-bearing boss. That's like moving one of the warring triad out of the way of the other two in 6. And look, if you played 6, you know where this is going. But it needs to be done. We need a world of ruin. Because if we don't have a world of ruin, we'll have a country of ruin. Basically, the runaway reaction cannot be stopped. The excess activity has to go somewhere, and if we channel it out of our republic, it will go outwards into the world, and boom! Because humans are influenced by metaphysical energy. I know that sounds convoluted, but bear with me. I mean, I suppose you could try to save every nation on Earth all at once by convincing them to embrace passivity, but that's not going to happen, and oof. Basically, the fear, the hate, the rage, the envy, the terror, the rage, the darkest emotions in the human psyche that's inherent in our genome, just varying degrees, will result in the collapse of the New World Order, the World Order in general, and the collapse of the rest of the world. Our republic will endure, but the rest of the world will just burn. Because all that excess energy has got to go somewhere. The positive aspects of the Enlightenment are reinforced, and darkness is kicked out of our republic. Then, that darkness has to go somewhere. Turns out that power may not be necessarily a zero-sum game, but if you don't destroy the darkness, it just spreads somewhere else. It's just, you get what I'm saying. If we shake off the darkness, then the rest of the world will be doubly infected. It'll go somewhere else. That's my theory. Oof, that's a problem. But the alternative is to become libertarians, become so passive and so unwilling to fight the woke mind virus that China and Russia just eventually realized we were not willing to fight back, invade us, and something like this happens because we became pacifists and isolationists. It's not going to work. We're going to die. It's going to be like this in Final Fantasy IX. But with nuclear weapons instead of Odin. They're just going to go for the jugular. So yeah, we can't let that happen. So how do we stop the woke left and woke right? Well, we lure them into a trap. They basically want to kill Trump for being an evil, orange, Zionist, fascist, communist of death. Basically, he's all bad. He's basically the embodiment of all evil in the universe. And if they just kill him, then life becomes good. If everybody would just overthrow the orange Hitler, then everything would be fine. Unfortunately, Homath did get one thing right. Everybody will not just. And the majority of the American population and a good chunk of the American military at this point will be loyal to the Orange Man. So any assault on the White House or the Capitol building during Ultra Pride Month, as I call it, June's coming up, the last Pride Month that ruled them all. Rainbow swastikas, baby! Oh, I'm calling it. Unlike the Babylon Bee, I'm brave enough to call this. Rainbow swastikas. I mean, yeah, you're painting swastikas on Teslas to, you know, let everyone else know that they're Nazis and a class enemy and all that jazz. But you also gotta make them rainbow to be in fashion with the tribe. It's Pride Month. Ultra Pride will be a thing. I'm calling it. You think I'm kidding. You think I'm nuts until it happens. Everyone will think I'm crazy until the crazy shit happens and they realize humans are just crazy and I'm just predicting madness. That has nothing to do with me. Oh, they're going to be painting rainbow swastikas everywhere. Calling it! So yeah, while they're painting rainbow swastikas, one last ditch effort to assassinate Trump with both the woke left and woke right marching upon the White House will happen. Well, a good chunk of the authorities will be there waiting for them to either arrest them or kill them all. They will try to arrest them, they will resist, and it will be result in a violent counter-revolution against communism and fascism, because I think that's unavoidable, to be honest. I think the authorities will try to get them to stand down, but they're so brainwashed by activity at this point, by madness, by ideologically induced rage, that they will just have to be gunned down like savage beasts. And when they are gunned down by savage beasts, the media will try to cause more chaos, more riots, martial law will have to be declared. It's not optional. You can't let all this just, your civilization burn down. You start arresting everyone. Basically, you arrest the media, both mainstream and fringe, in the case of the woke right, for incitement, alternative. And, yeah, the blowback that James Lindsay has predicted on the woke right will occur. Both communism and fascism will basically be cracked down on. All the foreign payments that all these different organizations inciting this shit, well, they'll be investigated, and this will aid Trump's negotiation tactics to pull out of a lot of shit, effectively bullying the rest of the world into backing the fuck down and leaving us the fuck alone. Because our foreign policy suffers from an excess of passivity at this point. We're just being way too hands-off on our own interests. But our domestic policy is the result of extreme activity and madness and everyone just trying to proscribe their worldview over everyone else's. And, well, that cannot be allowed. So, we will fight darkness with light and, we'll fight darkness with light, basically, and light with darkness. And balance will be restored to the world. So let's watch the Wrathgate cutscene, because these people have main character syndrome and think they're the heroes. And so it's only fair that, you know, the Capitol Police go full Putris on their asses.
Take the lead! For Mordor! For the Alliance!
Oh yeah, Wrathgate, baby!
Back!
mindless wretches! Fight on, brothers!
So, yeah, main character syndrome is going to take over in June. These nut jobs are going to
Raise up,
attack.
sons of the Horde! Blood and glory await us! Lontargar! For the Horde!
These nut jobs actually think they're the good guys. It
I
amuses
couldn't let
me.
the Alliance have all the fun today. Arthas! The blood of your father, of your people, demands justice! Come forth, coward, and answer for your crimes!
Oh yeah, I fucking love the Lich King. Such a cool villain.
You speak of justice, of cowardice. I will show you the justice of the grave and the true meaning of fear.
Enough talk! Let it be finished!
You will pay for all the lives you've stolen, traitor!
Boldly stated, but there is nothing you can...
What?
Did you think we had forgotten? Did you think we had forgiven? Behold now the terrible vengeance of the Forsaken!
Sylvanas.
Death to the Scourge! And death to the living!
Oh yeah.
Now, all can see. This is the hour of the Forsaken.
Yep. For all those people that have fallen through the cracks of both extremes, this is indeed our hour. The hour of the Forsaken is indeed coming up, baby. Because, well, once we effectively go full Sylvanas on their asses and pacify them with passivity, not enabling, not like pretending to be passive while actively enabling like the Lolbertarians. I mean, genuine light, genuine passivity, where, you know, our will is enforced, but we just sit there and wait for the enemy army to approach and obliterate them. You know, passive versus active strategies. This will allow us to go full active on the rest of the world. After all, if all of these different foreign powers have been funding all this subversion shit, the normies are now red-pilled. They're now going, holy crap, the World Economic Forum wasn't just a right-wing conspiracy theory. It was very real. It caused all this chaos. Oh my god. And you just red-pill people, you know, using the media. Because after all, if you seize the media, except it's not just a minor issue on whiskey taxes. It's actually existential threat to the Republic. He is allowed to send in the Jem'Hadar. Whether you like it or not, Lolbertarians. He could just send in the clowns, you know? At that point. Especially if they all try to kick down the White House and murder him. Though if I was Trump, I would be smart, hunkering in the bunker, like my dad likes to say. And, yeah. just in case they manage to make it into the White House itself. I mean, that nuclear bunker could be used to defend, well, our president from a conventional onslaught as well, if it's properly secured and armed, with armed guards outside, and locked, you know? Yes, I'm predicting some bad shit is to come. And then we just go full Warbringers on the World Economic Forum. We bully all the puppet nations of the World Economic Forum into submission with better deals. We basically bully Russia and Ukraine into a better negotiation, considering Ukraine and Russia are both connected to the World Economic Forum. They both want to avoid being our enemy. We could bully them into a peace deal. The tariffs will effectively by then have bullied China into a massive economic renegotiation. And, yeah, their subversive efforts would just give us the tactical advantage in that negotiation. We wouldn't need armies for China. Israel has got the Middle East currently on lock. We could just stop funding them. Matt Walsh is right. They can survive on their own. We could just stop funding Israel. And Iran and Qatar would be like, whoa, 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 we don't want both of you at once. Parlay! Parlay! Only Europe would probably get truly pissy because they're the masterminds. The World Economic Forum, the European Union, and the United Nations, they will not go quietly into the good night. We're going to have to crush Europe under our boots. They're going to declare war on us, basically. Last-ditch effort to regain control that will fail. The madness of a flailing animal. And we're going to have to be ruthless. We're going to have to go full Sylvanas.
Secure the beach. Prepare to invade the tree.
Why?
We're going to have to make an example of the European Union.
Only innocents remain in the tree.
Of the United Nations and the World Economic Forum.
No. This is hatred. Rage. Windrunner. You were defender of your people. Do you not remember?
Yay, European conquest!
I remember. A fool.
The only way to stop the French and German enlightenments, go to the source and, fix the problem.
Take her! Run!
Turns out we're going to have to, deal with the Visigoths. Again! But no worries! The general population will hail us as heroes. After all, we'll kick out all the migrants. We will undo their culture's damage to itself. And we'll simply do to them, via force, what they try to do via passivity. Rip out the operating system of European culture and replace it with American culture. Our operating system. Oh yeah, some civilians will panic and resist.
Is pain. Hope fails. Now you understand.
And the rest of the world will see it as very aggressive and very toxic, very stinky. A return of activity to the world stage.
You'll soon join your loved ones.
I grieve for you. You've made life your enemy. And that is a war you'll never win. You can kill us, but you cannot kill hope.
So yeah, we're gonna have to balance those scales.
Burn it. Burn it!
The tree of tyranny is about to be lit on fire. Return, Thor! It's not our constitution's about to die, Europe. It's yours. And I know. That's what the woke right truly fears. And so too does the woke left actually fear it. Because they're using the same OS for their ideological claptrap. If we destroy the source... then that will be the final nail in the coffin for the ideology. Very few people are willing to accept an ideology that the inventors of it have officially rejected in all of its forms. The Scottish Enlightenment will win, the French and German Enlightenments will lose. And all the NPCs in Europe will be reprogrammed over time. Cultural victory! America! Unfortunately, this means America, as one of the 3 strongest powers on Earth, has basically begun imperial conquest in earnest. Whether we like it or not, it's a war of self-defense, but it's imperial conquest nonetheless. This means the delicate balance of power that the globalists were trying to control and harness is all going to go bye-bye and explode all at once! And I'm looking forward to it, because, with an incredibly based, and I mean in the more James Lindsay sense of the word, America, that's become massive and imperial out of necessity, China and Russia will, and the Middle East will all be fighting over table scraps. You might think that they would unite together in common cause to oppose us. That would make logical sense. But an American republic that could just take all of Europe and all of Canada and all of Greenland all at once and just massively expand its territory overnight, pretty much, would be such a power play, such a display of aggression, of activity, of darkness, such a boom-in-your-face attack, that I don't think they would go for Taiwan. I don't think China would go for Taiwan. And there's another rogue province that formerly belongs to China that, according to Chinese culture, belongs to China officially, even though they haven't been rattling their saber as much, because they need allies. But they'll be so badly hit by the tariffs and so shocked by the sudden change in, well, the political shift of the world, that their more Schmittian mindset will kick in, and they'll realize that they need to conquer their next-door neighbor. If India and Pakistan eventually go to war with one another, worst-case scenario, then that means China is basically free to go after Russia, is what I'm saying, because that rogue territory of China currently belongs to Russia. So they're going to probably just try and conquer all of Russia to get their resources. So China versus Russia, India versus Pakistan is what I'm predicting, and the collapse of BRICS as a concept. This means BRICS will collapse, the central bank digital currency will collapse, the New World Order will effectively collapse. This clown world of slow managed decline and ruin we've been trapped in will be restored to a world of balance with, well, one hell of a massive explosion. What I'm proposing is an end-burst Final Fantasy VI, an anti-apocalypse that benefits America. But for all the other countries, will start feeling like an apocalypse until they regain their footing and realize that the world has changed forever. The woke right want to harness the power of the globalists for their own ends. I want to blow up the system because I hate it. We are not the same. Clown World Delinda est. Basically, I'm the Kefka to Homas Gaston. It's time to plunge the world into darkness. It's been way too bright for way too long. Everyone's gotten complacent and passive. It's time for America to become that shining city on the hill. Massive, shining, gleaming city. And the rest of the world to be, well, the filthy pores that they are. So yeah, I think Mr. Lindsay wants to prevent some of this shit from happening, but it cannot be stopped, only managed. It's kind of like old age in a way. You want to save your dying grandpa all day long, but your dying grandpa's dying for a reason. He's mortal. He's gonna croak eventually. There's gonna come a point where the cost of keeping him alive is too high, and it won't work. Anyway. And Europe is a sick, dying culture. It's time to put the dog out of its misery. Even if that ushers in a pro-human apocalypse, if you will. Both Lindsay and Homath, I don't think they have the stomach to do what needs to be done. Thankfully, Trump and Elon seem to, if I'm right, and it's going to be beautiful when it happens. Time to rip that band-aid off. America first! Unfortunately, I'm about to show you what America First truly looks like, and you won't like it. And that's because most of the people chanting America First on the woke right were never America First. Of course, they won't like it. That was never their goal. So yeah, time to plunge the world into darkness and turn the lights of America back on. The power of stasis has stifled us for far too long. And the strategically applied blood of darkness that they have been trying to use to crack all the cracks in our republic. All the so-called weaknesses will be inverted into strength and channeled outward into the world. And the world will burn for its hubris. I'm looking forward to it. I voted for this! You can't have liberty without chaos! After all, are you truly free to live your life if everything is ordered and predictable and forced upon you? Randomness, despair, hope, joy, misery, love, pain, all these things must be unleashed like a Pandora's box. And even reason itself to temper them all. So, yeah. It's about time to plunge the world into chaos. In order to restore the natural order of the American Republic, we must plunge the rest of the world into chaos. Because their chaos is interfering with our order, and our order is interfering with their chaos. Turns out we could not coexist. We are not the same. Everyone will not just. Mel, who can play at that game, woke idiots? I mean, Trump did a crypto rug pull. You expect him to not do a geopolitical rug pull? To start moving some metaphorical statues and blowing everything up? You expect him to care about the vaunted white race? When the French and German enlightenments are the problem? Even if he doesn't fully understand that, he does understand that being punched in the fucking face means you gotta punch back. So, I mean, he may not understand how it all works, but he does seem to understand who's doing the punching. And he's gonna punch back. And it's going to be beautiful. Welcome to the world of Run! From the woke perspective, anyway. If all goes well, if my prediction is correct, which I'm not saying it's going to be. Best president in American history yet. Oh, all this comes to pass. I voted for this! This fragile world order will be shattered like an egg. Ah. Beautiful. Let chaos and liberty reign! Destruction reigns from the heavens! Full Chrono Trigger! Full Tekka! Let's go! So yeah, I may not be an evil man, depending on who you ask. I'm not a saint either. Oh, and I revel in depravity. As long as it's pro-human depravity. A pro-human flood of darkness that benefits the American Republic and humanity's progress as a whole. Turns out, after the rest of the world is done blowing itself up, there will be even more incentive to develop our technologies and go to space, because, you know, who would want to stay here in a world of ruin? Even if America is fully functional, that's just one continent. Like one, maybe two continents, North America and Europe. The rest of the world's on fire, and even though it's perfectly livable, the people are tearing it apart like savages. Time to leave! And so, yeah. Mr. Homack and even Mr. James Lindsay do not seem to understand. They're not choosing option 3, and so is Trump and Elon. And there's nothing you can do about it. This is the compromise that has to be done in order to make it actually work. I'm a realist. And reality is a very grim place at times. And, well, in order for a beautiful jewel to shine, it needs to be put next to coal. So, potential worst case scenario apocalypse incoming, whether we want it to or not. But look on the bright side, you know? Look on the bright side, Mr. Math. It's a pro-America, and I guess you could frame it as a, even though we don't really care about the racial aspect, more like the cultural aspect, a pro-white apocalypse. So, I mean, yay, we win! We both win! Maybe not in the way either side wants to win, because, you know, the goody two-shoes are like, whoa, this madman's describing as chaos. It's horrifying, ooh! And what the woke right are hearing is like, no, classical liberal victory, no, we wanted more tyranny, we want the One Ring, no! It's not enough to be white, it has to be an authoritarian white regime! You can't have a pro-liberty white regime! That's cheating! We want the power! Also, you can't actually keep around people of other races in a pro-liberty white regime. It's not true. Whiteness. Exactly, because we don't actually care. The classical liberal faction genuinely does not care. And what with genetic engineering, any minor genetic differences will be revised. It's the culture, the ideology we care about. So, anyway, point is, the world's going to change forever whether you like it or not. So, get over it. Stop whining. Stop being a mad hoe and just go with it. Just go with it, man. Let the flow of chaos flow through you. What can I say? I'm a pro-human Fandaniel at heart. A pro-human Kefka. I'm like, life is awesome, let's party! As I unleash my light of judgment. Well, not literally. I don't have the power to do that, but you get the point. So yeah, Israel and a good chunk of Asia will thrive as well. Hell, Africa. Certain places in Africa might actually, be on the rise, like Botswana, much to the woke right's chagrin. Oh, it's all coming together. All the seeds that have been planted are slowly blossoming. Malay was the first sprout. It is beautiful. The world of balance is slowly returning. All it will take is one massive flood of metaphysical darkness. One big final boom! I love a good explosion. I grew up watching Mythbusters. Cat Knight wants big boom! Cat Knight wants big boom! Maybe not a literal boom, but a metaphysical boom. A pro-human boom. A boom of human flourishing, of life energy, baby! Of activity! Because this stasis is beginning to bore me. Time to water the tree of liberty and burn down the tree of tyranny, baby. Ah! Life! Liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Life energies revitalizing this world. A world of true, genuine activity and progress. A world of growth. Of both joy and pain in equal measure. A world of balance. At last. Ah, beautiful. So yeah, I'm just going to finish roasting Homath here. So, yeah, basically everything in this, I didn't really read it. It's all bullshit. He does not understand how any of this works. You should see my comment to him. Oh, did my comment get lost in the sauce? Oh, there it is. This roast of his stupidity was funny. Civilization is not possible because it requires everybody to be civilized. This is not possible. The mere suggestion that it is proves that you are too stupid to be involved in any discussion at all. You should be eaten by a lion. Absolutist logical frameworks are dumb, and they are. Even with yin and yang, there's a little bit of passivity and activity, and a little bit of activity in the passive. Yin and yang, even when taken to its absolute extreme, is not an absolute, because absolute power does not corrupt absolutely. It is the delusion of absolute power that corrupts absolutely, because absolute power cannot exist. I love this whole argument of his. A colorblind meritocracy is not possible because it requires everybody to do the thing. Oh, wow. And as I pointed out, it's just, yeah, you just negated civilization. You've also negated existence when you think about it. Unlike me, Homath has actually gone full Kefka. My proposed solution may be very Kefka-esque, but his metaphysics is Kefka when you think about it. He doesn't seem to understand how he's gone full Kefka, but let me explain. If the absolute fulfillment of one's principles, of one's projects is impossible, then his argument is that it's basically he's an absolutist. I'm butchering this. He's an absolutist. He's basically saying if you cannot do the absolute version of the thing, which no one can, as I pointed out with my yin and yang thing, then it's not possible, and therefore you shouldn't strive for it. But that's literally Kefka's entire argument for wiping out all of mankind in Final Fantasy VI. Well, what's the point of creating things that will one day be destroyed? What is the point of living when you will one day die? What is the point of anything if the purpose of a system is what it does? Then the purpose of existence is to perish! Square Enix, I know I'm probably never going to get hired for like 2 billion reasons, but on the off chance Square Enix sees this, and they want to make a 3D version of Final Fantasy VI, call me for the English voice actor of Kefka. Trust me, I could do a brilliant Kefka. And it would probably piss Jesse Cox off, considering having a Trump supporter play Kefka. Or maybe it would just play into his psychological delusions. One of the two. Either way, he'd probably be really annoyed of hearing my voice every time Kefka's on screen in the remake. It's like, there's a reason opposed rhymes with dispose. If they get in your way, kill them! What can I say? I'm really good at doing a Kefka impression. You ever just feel like that you're born to play a role, you know? Like, you see a character and you're like, if they gave me that job, I would take it in a heartbeat. Even if I was not paid at all and did it for free. It's a sad truth. I would still advocate for a paycheck, so I'm not stupid. But I'm just saying, there's a part of me that would do it for free if I had to, because, oh man, that's my part. Maybe not in real life, but it's called acting for a reason. Yeah, and then, well, That Kefka's pretty much the opposite of my worldview at this point. Anti-human chaos. I'm pro-human chaos. So, yeah. So, yeah. Enough ranting and raving like a wholesome lunatic. What can I say? I'm a weird individual. It sounds like a contradiction in terms, but in order to be a good person in this world, you have to be crazy. So yeah, let's spin the wheel, and after almost 2 hours, determine what I'm going to play for the rest of the night, for like about an hour. On stream. I want to do at least 3 hours. I've been missing streams due to real life. Wow, baby! The other 3 will be done on Friday. Wow, baby! Oh, yeah! And let me, oops. Playlist. Didn't have the playlist set up. I really need to sort out my playlist. A YouTube playlist, so set shuffle. Turn it down a bit. Redo it. And, well, time to exit the game and go play some Retail WoW. Been a while since I've logged in. What is there even to do in WoW? Log me in. Whoops, that's my hardcore account. Oh, I need to update? I thought I already updated this. You know what? I'm just going to end the stream here. Fuck it. Once again, updates and clients getting in the way. So, yeah, that's all for my whatever stream of Final Fantasy XIV, I guess. And, yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for either Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Hardcore. Woohoo, I finally get to do one of those. Though I might not do it tomorrow, because tomorrow I have to, it's the 1st, and I have to do some shopping. Yeah, I need to buy food, otherwise I starve to death and die. Capitalism is so oppressive. Nah, just kidding. It's actually socialism that's oppressive. Imagine if I actually had a real job instead of SSI and food stamps and that rusted iron chain around my metaphorical neck due to how poorly designed these systems are. But alas, I don't. They're designed to keep you down. They're designed to be oppressive. So it's actually socialism that sucks ass. Once again, socialists keep taking L's. National or international. They just don't know how to make an effective system. So, yeah. I'd rather get a job at my local Shell or something. But I can't because of how the benefits are set up. They're designed to be overly punishing. Oh, well. So, yeah. Hopefully see you tomorrow. In any case, this has been Cat Knight Alexander. See you later. Bye-bye. Before you go, I'm going to raid someone on Twitch. I'll raid this person, whatever. Not the raid. Ooh, it's a cat girl. Raid now.